to order. First item of business is approve the minutes of the last meeting. Motion by Supervisor Loeb, second by Supervisor Merlino. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll go right in the action item. President Duffy's here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
morning.
So just a quick update, mostly on the state budget. So as you know, Chris had passed. And the good news is that the Assembly and Senate did recognize our request for what we've been calling the floor. It's not 100% of what we wanted, but it's a great step forward. And essentially what it means is that, and we're still working through the numbers and how this is really going to roll out, but essentially they won't cut us. So, you know, we're grateful for that. And it's based on either a rolling 3-year average of the allocation that the state gave us over the past 3 years, or a $100 per FTE increase, whichever is greater for the college. So this way it recognizes different colleges based on where they are with their enrollment, that at least you know you won't go below what you had the year before, even as enrollments are fluctuating for many of us. So the good news is that at least it's been recognized that the old enrollment-based volume model is antiquated and out of date and was hurting a lot of us. The big work ahead of us will be to get it in for more than 1 year. Right now it's just for this year, but at least it's an opening that we hadn't had before. For Adirondack, and as I said, there's still a lot of questions about exactly how this is going to work. We won't lose money that we had last year, so that we know. It's not a windfall, I can guarantee that. So, you know, we'll still be asking for the funding that we've been talking about with you, but it's certainly good news going forward. So as we're working through the details with SUNY and better understanding how this will relate to each campus, you know, enrollment is still on the decline for all of us. We're projecting an enrollment decline for this coming fall. We have a pretty sophisticated predictive model that we use to predict enrollment, and for the past 3 years it's been dead on, even though we don't necessarily like it, but we really do rely on that to project our enrollment. If we do better, that's great, but we're pretty conservative in terms of our budgeting, because we don't want to find ourselves on the other end of that. So we are projecting a decline, which is really based on the variables that make the most sense, or most predictable is the employment rate. As employment continues to be, you know, at a pretty good rate for this region, both the capital region and Glens Falls is a predictor for us, and so you know, that shows that we're going to continue to see a bit of a hit on that. As well as graduation rate. So it's a double-edged sword. The more students we graduate, which is what we want, the less students we have returning. And so we're pleased to have more students graduate. That is what we're intending to do. But it does have an impact because you have less students that are coming back to maybe stay longer than they should. We put in, just to share quickly, we put in what we call the Finishing 2 initiative a couple years ago to really be more intentional with students about you can graduate in 2 years. You know, the trend over time, not only at community colleges but at 4-year colleges as well, and anyone who has children in college might attest to the 5 or 6 year plan that sometimes people end up being on. Be more intentional about the students that are capable, that don't need developmental work, that are college ready, should be able to finish in 2. And I'm happy to report, just by being more intentional, having students when they enter the college sign almost a contract that, you know, I'm committed to this. Our 2-year graduation rates have gone up almost 5%, which is a pretty substantial increase when you look at a statistical model. So we're really excited to see that. But that does have an impact on our enrollment. That's okay. We can live with that one. That's a good one. So there's good news from the state on that level. There's some other conversations going on that relate to high school enrollment that can be really good for students, but there will be some consequences for us from a financial standpoint. The details are still emerging, so we're not really clear on it yet. And there's also discussion about rental aid, which some of you may remember or not, that there is an allocation that's given to community colleges based on when we rent space. We get a portion of that rental aid back in reimbursement. The pot of money that's been allocated for rental aid hasn't changed in probably 30 years, But as you can imagine, as colleges have looked to expand and be able to offer new opportunities in different communities, the pressure on that dollar amount has become greater. And so there is conversation about potentially changing the percentage of reimbursement, which would have a very significant impact on us. So on the one hand, we have good news. On the other hand, we're watching the rest of it to ensure that we can figure out how to adjust it in the coming year, but probably for future years. So we want to share that with you. We have some good news. Our capital requests were in there, so that's good. Which typically are the monies that we get the chargeback, and we get a match from the state, and those are primarily enough funds to help with some of our critical maintenance projects. So.
Overall, are you happy with the way the programs worked out this year with the new buildings and everything that you had?
Oh gosh, yes. Our science enrollments are up. Our nursing program's doing very well. Our new programs in agricultural business, which also are taught in that building, is really exciting. We've got some good things happening in that. Of course, the culinary program and the building downtown has been wonderful. I hope you've had a chance, and if you haven't, we've only got 3 weeks left before the semester ends, and our student-run restaurant is open because it's part of their lab. So Wednesdays and Thursdays, lunches and dinners, a great opportunity to help our students learn, but also have a great meal. So yes, they've been wonderful, all of the projects that we've had.
Chairman?
President, I hope you'll be responding to we sent out our capital survey request.
Yep.
You'll be responding to that.
Absolutely, and thank you for involving us in that process.
Any other questions? Sure. Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With high schools, working with them to get kids into courses earlier, is that maintaining? Does that come into play in your future?
Absolutely. It's a big part of our enrollment. So we have about 700 students this year that take advantage of courses in the high school throughout Warren and Washington County. So it's a very significant part of what we do, and we know that the data shows us that even taking one college course while in high school dramatically increases a student's ability to finish college. So it's a very important part of what we do, both in the high school and then of course our early college programs, which are more geared towards career academies. We have advanced manufacturing, IT networking, business entrepreneurship, and new media graphic design. And those 4 career academies are taught both at Queensbury and at our site in Saratoga. And that's a wonderful way for students to start college, start exploring a career pathway, and earn up to 30 college credits at no cost to the student. So those have been tremendous opportunities for high school students as well.
And does that convert then into any FTEs?
Especially in the early college career academies, we're starting to finally see that transition. More students are staying because they really, for many of them, they've almost completed their associate's degree by the time they graduate from high school. They've got really only 1 more year. So they're looking at, like, why wouldn't I complete this degree and then move on to either work or to transfer?
Supervisor Loeb, you have a question?
Yes. Actually, has nothing to do with this, but since Christine is here, I had a meeting yesterday with Dwayne Vaughn and the Red Cross regarding smoke alarm installs on May 4th. Everybody knows about this, but I know this. He's going to be giving you a call, if he hasn't already, to let you know that all of your students and all of your staff and all of their families, they're entitled to free smoke alarm installed in their homes.
Oh, great.
And also to ask you to see if you could raise a team of SUNY Adirondack people to help. We have to raise 300 volunteers.
Okay.
Warren County is going to have a team,
Uh-huh.
and hopefully SUNY Adirondack will have a team for that day. It's a full-day program.
Great.
But the most important thing is to let them all know that these absolutely no strings attached. These are free smoke alarms. $27 value, free, up to 3 in the house.
We love free. Help as
Make a
much as
plug.
we can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Driscoll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. I recently noticed that as many as 5 colleges, 2 from Vermont and the other 3 from Massachusetts and New England, are closing. Do you think that any of those closures would have any type of an impact on people coming to
So it's actually 3 in Vermont. So
3 in
Southern
Vermont,
Vermont
okay.
College, Green Mountain, and St. Joe's.
Right.
As recently as the day before they announced they were closing, we were working with St. Joe's to try to help them and creating some pathways, and unfortunately that didn't work out. So we've been in touch with all three to provide help in whatever way we can. If there are students that are from our area in particular and it makes sense for them to transfer with us, we try to make that path, even clearer and simpler. We have one of our enrollment folks going to Southern Vermont to see the students to see if there's some opportunities there. So, one of the reasons they close is they're very tiny. So there's not a lot of students, but we've extended that invitation to say, we're here and we're happy to help. And certainly for New York State residents that have been going to Vermont, they might find it obviously more affordable to come here. But it's certainly not a great thing to see for anyone.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll continue right on with the agenda, seeing that Matt's got me on the clock there. Human resource, you saw the hires and vacant positions. Any particular questions about any of those? No? Okay, then we'll move on to referrals. Request amend table of organization and salary scheduled to create and fill a new position of senior aide, part-time, temporary, grade 7, base annual salary $33,600, and effective April 22nd, and this is at Countryside Adult Home. I'm sure this is all vetted through committee. Any questions about this one? Motion to approve it. Motion by Dennis, second by Supervisor McDevitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, Mr. Dickinson's not on the committee, so...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. Where's Brad? I wish you were there, Brad.
Always throwing me a
Okay.
curve.
So we have a motion by Mr. McDevitt, second by Ms. Frazier. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I see this was mandated once, but we're just... Oh, sorry, never mind.
Hmm?
I was thinking it was no command to create and fill. So we have not had this position before?
I think they did an adjustment to their staffing up there. That's what I believe. Is that correct, Edna?
That is what it was,
Yes, they're adjusting the staffing up there, switching around. Health Services, request to authorize enrollment in job-related course. I think we did, didn't we? Oh, we didn't vote? All those in favor?
Aye. We did.
No, we didn't.
We didn't?
No, I did, I changed it. It was
because
Supervisor McDevitt.
Yeah.
Supervisor Fraser.
We're all well covered now.
Okay, I'm off my game. Okay, request to authorize enrollment in job-related course. Motion by Supervisor Leggett, second by Supervisor Frazier. Any discussion on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. County Attorney, this is request to amend the salary schedule and decrease the salary of legal assistant number 2 from $48,017 to $45,000 effective April 22nd, and this was just done through committee. Motion by Supervisor Bramer, second by Supervisor Sokol. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. All right. Pending items. Yes, we have none. You have the vacancies. Any questions on any of the vacancies? That's it. Okay, motion to adjourn. Motion by Supervisor Loeb, second by Supervisor McDevitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll go on to finance.
Wow.